Today, our verse is 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 5. For we never came with words of flattery, as you know, nor with a pretext for greed. God is witness. In chapter 2 of this first letter to the Thessalonians, Paul reminds the believers in Thessalonica how he and his fellow workers conducted themselves. Paul contrasts himself with the contemporary philosophers who are motivated by greed or self-indulgence, if you read verses 2 to 6. While Paul and his fellow workers ministered with gentleness and love, if you read verses 7 to 12. Our verse comes from the section where Paul speaks about the philosophers. Let us analyze the verse. The first point Paul makes is, for we never came with words of flattery. Flattery, kolekeia in Greek, means exaggerated praise. It combines the ideas of insincere talk and the desire to use someone else for one's own ends. Someone praises you when in fact they do not mean it. For Paul and his fellow workers, they spoke the truth sincerely without sugar-coating it. Deceivers flatter people, but Paul would not deceive the believers. How often do we say things to people when we mean the opposite? How often do we praise people just to win their favor? Words of flattery does more harm than good to the other person because it makes the other person live a false life and hold false beliefs about themselves, thinking that what we say to them reflects who they really are. The second point is that he, Paul, and his fellow workers did not come with pretext for greed. Paul and his fellow workers did not come under the pretense of greed. Greed is the desire to possess something one does not have, wanting to acquire what belongs to someone else. Greed goes beyond the love of money. It could be the desire to eat what belongs to another person, not being considerate about other people, wanting to have everything to myself. When Paul worked with the Thessalonians, he was interested in their good, not taking from them or subjecting them to taking care of his own needs, making unnecessary demands from them. Paul instead says he took care of his own needs. If you read 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, 9 to 10. How often today do ministers of the gospel overburden their members to take care of their selfish or lavish lifestyle while the members struggle to make ends meet? And finally, to demonstrate that he was saying the truth, he tells them that God is his witness. Calling on God as a witness is common in the Old Testament. If you read Genesis chapter 34 verse 44, chapter 50 verse 1, 1 Samuel chapter 12 verse 5. Paul calls God as witness. God alone knows the inner person, the motives and desires. Today, let us ask ourselves some basic questions. Do I speak sincerely to people or do I flatter them to curry favor? Am I a stingy person, greedy, wanting to get more and more for myself to the detriment of other people? Can I sincerely say, God is my witness to what I do, knowing that I act from a sincere heart? Lord, may we not flatter people or allow ourselves to be carried away by flattery. Help us to be considerate and not always self-centered. Amen. God bless you, and I wish you a lovely day.